We have thousands of people who go missing every year, just here in the United States, and there's no discrimination on the missing. They are young, old, black, white, male or female, even children. It's time to stop. Here at Coles is still missing, and they've not found any new clues. It's women who are pregnant, it's women who have jobs, and it's women who have not seen even fetal abductions. Have you seen me? Welcome to my channel, everyone. Thank you so much for caring. Welcome to Chasing the Murder, talking news, and boy are we getting story after story on this Lori Vallow case. Now, yesterday, they had a hearing for both Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. But I noticed that Chad Daybell seemed pretty spirited during his hearing. And as for Lori Vallow, well, I'm sorry guys, I keep calling her Vallow, it's habit. Lori Daybell, she was able to sit there and refrain herself from showing any type of emotion whatsoever. I don't even think she blinked hardly. But there was something that happened during that kind of sent some very concerning ideas that maybe something is about to change and something big, because there was a recess before Lori even appeared on Zoom. So Lori, I'm not the only one doing it. So in this article, it says Lori Vallow, who was charged this week with murdering two of her own children, has been declared mentally unfit to stand trial for a separate concealment of evidence charges that she faces. Now, it's not that I think this is funny, it's just we all should have known this was coming, right? So I kind of suspected it. I thought about it last night and this morning. I said, there's something coming. But get this. They're saying that Lori was actually evaluated for competency in March. Now, this is important, guys. They have a psychologist perform an assessment which determined that at this time, the defendant is not competent to proceed and recommends restorative treatment. And then this was written in an order by Judge Stephen Boyce. So this is where I am very conflicted, because I am very empathetic and I care about people, and I even care about Lori to an extent. But I've also learned through the research that she's a victim. Remember what I said in my videos previously. I just didn't think that she would go this far with it for her, because this would make her look bad, but she already looks bad, right? Anyways, we already know if she's called out, and she's been called out big time with these charges. What did I say? She's gonna point the finger somewhere and to somebody. I have so much to say, and I haven't written this down. I'm afraid I'm gonna forget, so I might jump back and forth, and this might not be too well ordered. So we know that at the very beginning of this, a lot of what Mark Means is doing is pushed by Lori. The Cox family, because Lori is our original Cox, has a history of delaying courts at any means possible. And we know this because her parents, and I try not to mention this, but we need to at this time, and I apologize. We know the Coxes, her parents, have been dealing with IRS issues and still are. And for years, this has gone on. And I want to say the year, but I don't remember it offhand. But it was in the early 2000s at least, possibly even 1998, something says. But it doesn't matter. We're going into 2021 and they're still fighting the IRS on some taxes that they owed from years ago. Lori Vallow has a history of dealing with courts as well. And she also has a history of making it difficult for the courts. So this brings me to this. Does or is there a chance that Lori Vallow is having a mental breakdown? Well, that's hard to say because we know that she's had a mental breakdown almost her entire adult life. That's based off of my opinion and based off of my research. She has done some very questionable things. And what's interesting to me is when her husband was trying to keep her from making this mistake with everything that he had, she refused to get mental help. And when she did finally go into the office, because it was demanded that she did, she comes out of the place and tells her friend, Melanie Gibb, she passed with flying colors. But, we've seen her when she first come into the courtroom. She was smirky and she just looked like a teenager that just got away with everything. We know that she's able to manipulate her situation. She can change her personality to fit whatever someone is looking for. So, do we truly believe that she's having a mental meltdown and she's allowing them to tell her, you're having this mental breakdown, and then she accepts it? That makes no sense. So now you have to wonder, is she using this to her advantage and to make her a victim? Because at this point, when you have charges like that on you, you don't have many more choices. So let's talk about, what they found with her so far. So this started back in March, guys. So this leads me to believe that they knew that these charges were coming before anybody did. So the defense already had an idea that these charges were coming, and it wasn't something they had to say if. They just are like, when. So she's going to have restorative treatment. And a lot of people are like, does boys really fall for this? Well, we don't know. But one thing we do know, to prevent any problems, it is smart that he does actually give them this opportunity so that, nothing can come back at him and she go free. This is not super common, but it is common with cases like hers. Remember, I'm not a law expert, but I've been covering a lot of stories, and I have seen, like in a, Daniel Thiesfield? I'll go over that a little bit later, but in that case, because I forget things, I have to go through the notes. He was that college kid that shot his girlfriend who was supposedly pregnant. And immediately, his attorney went for the same thing that means is seeking for Lori Daybell. So this is interesting to me. So at this point, for them to do this, they have to basically say that she has a mental illness, right? At least right now, while she's behind bars, something that she fought tooth and nail to prevent. How do we let this slip us by? Because according to some media sources, court records state that the licensed clinical psychologist met with Lori Vallow Daybell on March 8th, 2021. The evaluation was ordered after the defendant's fitness to proceed was drawn into a question by counsel. This case was stayed from further proceedings pending in determination of the issue of the defendant's competency. Now remember when I was kind of showing good Lord, if I'm talking, guys, which direction will Rob Wood go with this mental diagnosis for Lori in the case? Well, we know now that Rob Wood actually disagreed with the psychologist's findings. So like myself, he's probably thinking that this is all just a hoax and a way to delay, and to make her look like that victim she likes to appear as. The court said, let me put this out there. So, quote, the court has now been advised that the state contests the finding of the report, end quote. I knew watching Lori sit there was, if you go back and watch the hearing, she has no emotion or anything at all. Like I said, she barely blinked. But it also looked a bit fake. So for those of us hoping that she snaps out of it and like her sister Summer and sees the reality and decides to do the right thing and say, look, I did this because I believe this. She isn't going to do that. Instead, she's going to continue to be the victim. So that's interesting, you know. Hopefully I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. I would love to see her come forward and say, look, you know, guilty. I admit I lost my mind. Not I lost my mind so I can't come to court so you can't do anything to me. This just shows you that she has no remorse for anything that happened. It just makes her look worse. And what she's doing is she's just putting every single one of the people that did care about her at one time in her life, making it harder on them. People like Colby, her son. She is making it difficult to where she thinks that she's going to prolong this so long that she'll never have to face the truth and have to see the pictures of the damage that she has done. Seeing what the investigators pull up out of the ground, the remains of those innocent children. And that's my personal take on it anyways. So that's my opinion, guys. It's not fact. And I have a lot of that in this case because I have gone very personal with this case. And Mark Means is, a lot of people say that he's not able to do this or that, but he's definitely able to play the game Lori wants to play. And that must be exciting for her. She chose the wrong time to do this. If she had done this once she was in trial and she starts seeing the damages, her own children being pulled up out of the ground, then she had mental troubles. Maybe that was part of the regret. But I think what she's doing right now, my opinion really is that she is playing victim again like I predicted. And I'm still waiting to see what they're going to try to do to Melanie Gibb. And here's my opinion on this, and this is all speculation. Melanie Gibb knew something. She did. The extent of that something, I don't know. And because of that, Lori is going to go after her. Or she's going to send her attorney after her as a way to scare and bully her like she's done her entire life to other people that she doesn't want having anything to do with something. But as long as Melanie Gibb gets an attorney, there's nothing they can do to her unless her fingerprints show up on something or a video that says that she took part in these heinous acts. I'm not a law expert, of course, but that's what I believe at this time. So where does it go from here? Well, that's interesting. We know that this is going to put a damper on moving forward for all of those people like Kay Woodcock that were like, finally, we're getting somewhere. Well, not really. This is Lori's way of getting back at all of those people. You think she's not seeing some of this on TV? I truly believe that Lori, everything she's doing right now is to get back at everybody because she got caught. And at this point, the family members are going to have to say, you know what, that doesn't bother me. And look at it this way. She's the one sitting behind bars. She's the one being charged. She's just making it harder on herself. She's prolonging the pain and the embarrassment for herself. The longer this goes on, the longer they will talk about this story, and I will be one of them that helps to make it backfire as much as possible. So you guys, definitely share below. Why do you think this is happening? Do you believe her? Or do you believe she's a victim? I was questioning the part 2 video I just uploaded on the hearing, whether or not Rob would support this mental thing, and I still do, because here we go, that narrative has begun and it's become a reality. But Rob Wood did object. But is that real? Attorneys do wheel and deal behind the doors, guys. And so I have this caution light popping up. I'm just worried that they are going to work at possibly making it a little bit easier on Lori than Chad. But hopefully not. I could be wrong. Hopefully I am. And the fact that she's doing it right now doesn't seem to insinuate that that might be the direction they're going. So, I don't know. I guess we will see. And anybody that is educated in law, I'm more than welcome you to comment below, and please do on that subject. So, since the prosecution, Rob Wood, has contested the findings, and they say that they will be scheduling a hearing to discuss the issue. So, when was this hearing done? She has been deemed incompetent. What the heck is going on, right? What time did this hearing happen? And what did Rob Wood think after this hearing? So obviously, there's a lot going on behind closed doors that we're not hearing about. So just keep your eyes open, guys. So I want to send my love out to the families and tell them just hang in there. And don't give up. Don't let them push you into a corner and make you take something that you feel you don't deserve. Keep in the media light at this point. Now, before I wasn't liking it, but now is the time to do it. And keep pushing. That you want to see the punishment deserved to these two for all the victims involved with this case. Charles Vallow, Tammy Daybell, possibly even Joseph Ryan, and mostly the two children, Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. A lot of people suffering. Annie Cushion, friends of the family and family members. Hang in there, Colby. Colby, I can see he's struggling. Just hang in there. And I wish you guys the best.